Here with Adam Connette of the Minnesota Crookston Football team. You know, as a lot of people have heard the story recently of Jake Olson at Southern California, he's, blind long snapper. You personally have a pretty good relationship and story to tell with Jake. You guys played high school football together. Just first off, how was it that you first met Jake, and just talk about your guys' relationship just in more general terms.
I mean, it's really funny how I met him, actually. I had a student helper that was kind of, because I transferred into that high school, and I had heard that there was a kid that was blind and he was trying out for football, and I didn't think much of it, and I was on Facebook and just he commented on something like that I was involved with, and then I was like, oh, I got more friends than you. Can't you see that? And I literally typed that, and he responded back and said, no, I'll never be able to see again in my life. And then I realized who it was, and the person that we were both talking to is a really good friend, and so she's like, Jake wants to talk to you tomorrow at lunch. And so I was kind of scared. I was like, dang, what is this dude gonna say to me? And then at lunch, he kind of put his arm up and was acting like he was gonna punch me. He's like, no, bro, it's cool. He's just a great guy. I'm so happy that I got to know him and spend time with him, and yeah, he's a cool person to be around. Never once have I heard him complain about being blind, which is really amazing.
You held for his, when he was snapping in high school. Just talk about the whole process that goes into, getting him on the field and getting him lined up for kicks.
So what would happen is I'd be on the field because I was on the offense. Whenever offense scores a touchdown, our kicker would run him on, and he would be holding onto the kicker's shoulder. So then he'd run him on, and then I'd go over and meet him about halfway, grab him, and then he'd grab my shoulder, and then I'd walk over to where PAT is, and then I'd set his hips right, put his legs out wide, get him centered, make sure the ball's right in front of him, and then I'd be like, all right, Jake, it's on you. So then I'd go back to my spot, I'd kneel down in my position, I'd clap so that he kind of gets a distance because he has amazing senses. And then after that, then the guard next to him would tap his leg, and then that would mean we're ready for the snap, and then he would snap it whenever he wants, and then I'd catch it, hold it, kick. And then once it goes in, then I'd go over and get him and walk him back over the sidelines.
What was he like as a long snapper? I think he was sophomore or whatever. He was a couple years younger than you at that point. What was he like at that point? And did you, ever have any feeling that he'd be able to snap at the collegiate level?
When they first told me that he was going to be the snapper, I was like, well, wow, that's crazy. This is probably going to work. I mean, he's blind. I didn't think he'd be very good. In the beginning, he wasn't the best, but he practiced more than, he put in a lot of work. On days that we didn't even have football practice, he would be out there with the snapping coach and working on his snaps. And even from a physical standpoint, he still gets in the weight room. And from high school to college, where he is now, he's much bigger.
Now that you've seen what, that he's gotten the attention and, been able to, get into a game at USC, what was your reaction when you first saw that? And yeah.
Part of me was like, well, I kind of saw it coming from a mile away, but it's just awesome to see him in high school. He's a motivational speaker, and so to see him succeed in that aspect of getting a scholarship, being the first blind person to ever play football at a D1 level, but not only that, but get a scholarship was awesome. And it totally blew up. It was sweet to see that.
What message do you think that sends to anyone with, disabilities or anything that hampers their ability and even in their mind to play college football? What do you think that says to people?
It's an inspiration for anybody. For me personally, I can't think of any excuse, because he has a huge thing that he didn't even really deserve. He didn't do anything to get that, and he's still working hard every single day and putting in all the effort. I think he's a huge role model for tons of people. I know that he had his video up for the ESPN ESPYs, and I think he did really well in that area too. So obviously if he's in the ESPYs, he's a huge role model.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam.
Yep.